So, they don't really need to optimize the site. But if you are a business owner, let's say I'm going to pick somebody like, let's say a realtor, and you want to stand out from somebody else within your zone, then you need to ensure that your website is optimized so that when people start to search online for a realtor in their neighborhood, that your page is on the first page of that search result. So really the optimization process is all about getting your website to rank higher. And from our perspective, from my business and from any other person's business that I've spoken to, the higher your website ranks, it typically generates for you more revenue. So that's so let me just more money, right?
So
the higher your website
SEO, which is search engine optimization, the advantage it generates more money. Is there any other advantages that it may bring about? Is there any other advantages that it may provide?
I think everything kind of comes back to the finances. I mean, the fact that more visibility, you get recognized as the expert or the best in the field,
right? Just
by virtue of the optimization. It's perception versus reality.
Well, and I'm saying, money on one side is actually generates, but it doesn't also reduce some of your marketing costs.
We will get into that. Absolutely, definitely. Right. It depends on how you are operating your business. So I don't know if you want to get into that right now, but
not right now. Keep going ahead. Okay. You're fine. Keep going.
Right. So that's why it's important. What we have found is that most of the clients that I've worked with, their websites do not rank high. As a matter of fact, I would say in general, most business owners within the Black community, their websites are not ranking high.
And why do you think that?
I think that I think they, like me, like myself, so let me use myself. 10 years ago, when I was, we've been creating websites today. Our company builds websites. So we focus more on the look. So the fluff, it looks pretty, you get this, and we focused on the navigation and all that. But we didn't really focus on the meat of the website, which is, what is the information? How is the search engine going to find this page, etc. So there's a lot of information missing from the website with respect to the optimization.
Okay. And so if that is the case, what do how does someone go and optimize their website?
Well, I mean, there's two ways you can do it. There's the DIY, which is what I'm gonna, I wanted to share some things. I think that we have some downtime. Let's just get real. We have a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
So use that downtime. If you have a business, if you have a website, take this downtime to spend some time on your website and make some small tweaks. I'm not going into link building strategies or keyword research or nothing like that. I'm not dealing with any of that today. Those things require like a 1-hour session by themselves. All right. So this is just like basic stuff that you can do now, potentially, or with a little bit of help, to get these things done.
I think that's great. I think it's important to do that before we get into what they are. Based upon the pre-COVID or the COVID environment we're in right now, help people to understand why you feel it's very important for people to actually pay attention, and if they didn't do it before, to re-engage and pay attention now. Why?
You know what's interesting? So the reason obviously is the digital transformation that has happened because of COVID. Because now, even with this session, pre-COVID would have been done live at the BBPA office, most likely, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we would be doing. We would do a lunch and learn session, have some people on the table. So this digital transformation of people going online. You know, my kids are learning online. Everybody is attending every event online right now. So let's just start with that. So everything has gone online. You can't just go down to the store. There's a time when, so for example, Canadian Tire, curbside pickup. So now you have to figure out how to go online to order a product because you couldn't go into the store anymore, right? So a lot of everything that people are doing right now is going online and searching for things, searching for how to buy this, how to do this, and quite frankly, a lot of DIY too, because you can't hire, nobody can come into your house right now, so you have to figure out, unless it's like a major thing like your furnace, like small things. People are trying to go online, not people are trying, people are going online to get most of their things done, shopping, etc. So everything has changed. Like even my naturopath, she would normally drive from Woodbridge to come to Whitby to see us. Now she's doing it virtually, right? So everything is being done virtually, digitally.
Okay, and so basically, so any of the even from a business perspective going forward, it's going to be very important for companies to ensure their web or their digital presence is able to compete in the masses. How, for someone that hasn't done the past, what are some tips? Like if you were to say identify, what are some key things to actually help with SEO to get them up? What things should they be looking at?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. One of the first things that you really want to focus on is if you have a website, you want to make sure that your website is hosted by a reliable hosting provider.
Okay.
So that's kind of my first thing, you know. It's like banking, right? If are you gonna put your money with the top 5 bank, or are you gonna do it with a fly-by-night investment company that promises, you know, high rates of return? Up to you, but there's a risk with it, right? So you may go with a hosting provider that may purport to be cheaper and give you this and that, but then when you really take it out, there's a risk of doing that. And then also the search engines, they flag certain hosting providers as being risky as well, because there have been incidents of breaches, etc. So that impacts your ranking as well.
So how would somebody know that they have a good or a bad hosting provider? How would they know? What's things that they can look for?
Google it. So if you were to Google, so like I think when we were starting Buy Blacks, we were searching for, you know, we dealt with, I think, about 10 different hosting providers at that point, right? And I said, you know, let me do some research into this. So I Googled it. I said, top 10 hosting providers. Go to a PC Mag, go to some type of reliable, trusted source, BuzzFeed or somebody like that, and see what they are saying in terms of top 10 and why, right? So, you know, oftentimes it's, you know, the hosting provider will have faster servers, faster hard drives. You know, some people are still on the old technology, some people are moving to SSD. Some people just have bigger data banks, right? So that is the first thing. You know, you just want to search, just do a search and look and read through. We have the time now. There's no, you know, we got some time now. Do a quick search, top 10 hosting providers, look at what they charge, look at, you know, the services that they provide, kind of gauge, you know, what your website is. So Buy Blacks, for example, gets a lot more traffic than Convo Media does. The Convo is a PR firm, Buy Blacks is a media host, so we have obviously more traffic. So we needed a dedicated server for that. So we would spend more money on the hosting plan for Buy Blacks, much more than we spend for Convo or the BBPA or whatever, because it's not as much information on the site. So that's another thing too. It just depends on what type of business you're doing.
Right. Okay, and you had mentioned something earlier on. I just want to go back to that real quick. You said that there is DIY, so you can do it yourself, or or seek the help of a professional? At what point does someone say, okay, you know what, this is bigger than you, you need help? What point is the distinguishing factor?
You know what? I think if you are, well, if you have the time,
Okay.
right? And I, for one, I'm a big proponent of hire a professional to do the work, right? There's certain DIY things you can do, but like this, there's small things you can do. But even if you, what point? The point would be, I think, if you have tried it and what you have done has not been successful. But notwithstanding that, I still think that you should get even an analysis, and a lot of SEO firms will offer you free consultation just to show you what is wrong with your site.
Okay.
So even if you get that free consultation, they'll say, okay, you need to do this, 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 and this. If you figure that you can do some of them, sure. If you don't think you can do it, and it's too technical, hire somebody.
Perfect. I just want to take a quick pause right here. I'm going to go back and continue on the 7 tips. To everyone out there, if you have any questions, please, by all means, either raise your hand or you can put it in the chat and we can ask Raj as we go along. Okay?
Yeah. So just to let you know too that from a hosting provider perspective, so we use InMotion hosting for Buy Blacks.
Okay.
That service was just a little bit cheaper. Our regular hosting provider that we use with our clients is SiteGround, and that because they actually do a very good job with both WordPress and Joomla, which is the platform that we use to build websites. So they're very comparable, Joomla and WordPress. Another hosting provider that I would recommend too is Bluehost. So we've used them in the past as well, and they're great.
Perfect. I've got a question here to you, Roger. When you hire someone, what is the cost one can expect to pay?
Okay, so it depends on what you want. So every 6 months, we hire an expert to take a look at Buy Blacks and tell us, is there anything else that we can do to improve the site? We pay that person, I think it's $200 US every 6 months. So, and then they will say, okay, you know what, you need to do this, need to make these changes, reduce the image, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they're, because throughout that 6-month period, we may make changes to our site, we may add new, programs, software components, plugins, whatever. And those things may be causing a problem. And of course, we're adding a lot of content. So they can come on now and say, okay, these things that you did are good, or these things that you did are bad, and here's what we recommend that you should do. So even just from an analysis perspective, that's what we spend every 6 months, about $200 US for the expert that we hire. On the SEO side, again, it depends on the size of your site and your business that you're doing. You can look to spend, I don't know, anywhere between $200 to $1,000 a month, right? Now, that's a lot of money. I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, that's crazy money. But really, what you want to do is get that engine tweaked up, right? And then try to take over most of the basic stuff that we're going to discuss in a little while.
Okay.
I see another question here. How quickly does someone see results? You should see the results pretty fast, within 1 to 3 months, I would say. Sometimes faster than that.
Okay. Thank you, Trevor. By all means, everyone, as we continue to go on, if you have a question, either put in the chat or you can raise your hand and you can actually speak it out yourself.
Yeah. Cool.
Now,
so
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you talked about the hosting side. I'm going to try to go directly to some, we'll ask them more questions as we continue to go.
Right.
Aside from hosting, what are the other tips that you would say someone's got to actually do? And look,
all right, great.
Now, again, bear in mind that some of the individuals might not be technical, so they might not even know what they're looking for.
Absolutely. So the other thing is, and I think a lot of people miss this one, it's an easy one, is the SSL. So it stands for Secure Socket Layer, and that just it's very critical, I think, for people who sell things on their website. So if you have an e-commerce, if you're like a clothing or product-based company, you're running like an e-commerce site, you definitely need the SSL. It just gives well, first of all, it gives your website a boost on your ranking because it tells Google that your site is safe, right? And then the second thing is that, again, from a perception perspective, once I see that padlock, so you need to get that padlock, right? Padlock shows up on the browser to the left of where your domain name is listed, right? So once we see the padlock, we know that, yep, it's okay for me